In this video, we are going to create a Blazor CRUD application using Entity Framework Core. If you have not checked our previous Blazor video, do check them in the Blazor playlist. So, to start, we will create a new project. Select Blazor application, and then we will put the name to Blazor CRUD App. Create. Now we'll select Blazor WebAssembly app. Make sure the ASP.NET Core hosted is selected. Create. So here, as you can see, we have the Blazor client project, we have the Blazor server project, and then the Blazor shared project. So in the Blazor server project, we will add a NuGet package. So we will install Entity Framework Core. In the Browse tab, we will type Entity Framework Core.sql server. And install. Then we will proceed to install the design package, the design. I accept. Then the tools, install, accept. Now in the shared project, we will create a model. So add new folder. Then we will put the name to models. In it, we will add our model, which will be a core model. So add new class. Then we will put the name to core. We will make the class to public. So public int ID, get set, then public string core name, get set. So this will be our core model. Then we will create another class and we will put it to ApplicationDbContext. So here in the DB-context, we'll put it to public, and then we'll inherit it from the DB-context. So we will call it install package Microsoft Entity Framework Core. Find and install latest version. So public application DB-context, DB-context option, then application DB-context, the name will be option. So we will pass that to the base class. Now let's insert a DB set of core. So public DB set cores get set. In the Blazor CRUD server, we will add our connection string. Add new item. Then we will search for JSON. Then we will select app setting, add. Here we will have our connection string, and as you can see we have a default connection. So we are going to use this default connection. The name of the database will be Blazor CRUD. Now we will need to be able to read it from our app, so we will open our program. So open program.cs. Here we have our configurations. So we will add our app settings here. We will be able to read our app setting from our application. Now let's open the startup.cs class, where we'll make a constructor in the public class startup. So this is the configuration is equal to configuration. Now let's go to the configure services method to configure the ApplicationDbContext. So we'll add the default connection in the getConnection string. We will pass our name here. And then we will call the Microsoft Entity.co. Now let's go to the Package Manager console to configure the Entity Framework code in our application. And here we'll run the command add-immigrate initial. Be started. Here it is, build succeeded. And as you can see in the migration file, we have our build. So now we will perform another command, update-database. This will create our database in our SQL Server instance. Done. We will need to create a controller. So we will need to create a controller in order to interact with our database using the Entity Framework code. So in the controller folder, we'll add a new class. And we'll put it to car controller. API controller. API / controller. The route API controller means that this controller will be on API / car. Public class car controller. It will inherit from the controller base. Then private read-only. Application DbContext. The DbContext. Then we will have our public core controller application DbContext, DbContext, and this.dbContext equal to dbContext. Let's create the method for creating a car, update a car, and delete a car. Now let's create a method which will get a single core from the database. Now to create core, so HTTP post, to update core, and then to delete core. We can now work on our user interface. In the client project, in folder pages, we will create a folder cores where we will group all the components related to the core module. So in the core folder, add a new razor component, add new item, razor component, and name it cores. So in the page directory, we will put it to /core. Insert the component in the name menu and copy the existing one and change it. So change the text of the now menu and the href to cores. Now let's build it, guys. So to proceed, in the core.razor component after the add page, let's inject the HTTP client, HTTP, so that we can use the HTTP client clause from our component. So in the add code block, I will create an array core. So core cores get set. To get access to this, we can import the core class namespace here or in the import.razor at using Blazor app.shell. So I will put it in the import.razor component. So we will display the core which has been fetched. On initialized async, we will load the core. We will want to display the array of core on our UI. So if core is null, then this will be displayed. Else if core.length equal to 0, then we will display no records found. Else we will use an HTML table where we will display the cores. So table clause will be table, and in the T head, that is a table head, we will have core ID and core name. In the T body, we will loop through the core array, and then we will have two buttons. So we will have button update, and the clause will be btn success, and then we will have button delete. Its clause will be btn danger. When the user will click on update, the core will be updated, and when the user will click on delete, the core will be deleted. And down we will have the core ID and core name. Now let's add a core in the load core to test our application because we don't have data in the database. Let's add car, so new car. Car name equal to Honda.
The API/cars should be API/car.
Now let's add a new component in this folder. So add new component, raise a component, and then we will name it create car.razor. Add. Here we will have our create car component. So on the top we'll add page /cars /create car. And then we will inject our HTTP client. HTTP. Then we will create a new car object. And then async task create car. So here we will post our JSON async API/car, and then we'll post our car object. And then we will call our edit form component. So model equal to add car, and on valid submit we will add create. So we'll add our div, a label, and then another div. So in the div we'll add input text at bind value equal to @car.car name. Now let's check. Here as you can see, it is being displayed. In the cause component, let's copy the button update and put it inside the div that we have just added. Then we'll put it as href. We'll put the href to cause/create car, and then the text to add new car. Now let's run it. As you can see, it's working fine. Let's open the NuGet package. And search for component model annotations. So here it is. Select it. Install. Now in the core class, we will put required for core name. And then we will add a validation message for the core name. And we'll also inject the navigation manager URI helper, which will help us to navigate. So button submit, it is to create the core. Now let's add the core, guys. So we'll put the name to Toyota, create core. Here it is. So I think does delete.
Await http://delete async, then we pause the core ID. After deleting the core, load the undeleted cores.
Now let's add the button delete.
In the component cores, we will add an onClick event which will be triggered on clicking on the delete button.
So let's run it. Click on delete. So as you can see, the core is deleted. Now let's inject the IGS runtime. GS. So GS invoke async confirm. This is to call the JavaScript. Are you sure you want to delete?
The user will see a pop-up JavaScript box which will notify him if he wants to delete or not. Let's add a data annotation validator which we can use to display validation error message for required.
Here it is. So let's run it.
Now, when we click on the create core without entering any name, our validation message should be displayed. Here it is, guys. Let's enter Honda. Click on create core. Here, the core Honda is added to the list, as you can see. Click on delete. Here it is. We have the JavaScript pop-up. Are you sure you want to delete Toyota? Okay.
Now let's add another component, and we'll put the name to update core.
Now let's close the tabs except for update core and create core tip. So we will copy this code and use it later in our components.
And now let's create another component.
Add new item.
So we'll select razor component and put it to core form. This will be our form. and then we'll put our parameter in the @code block. So we'll have our core, btn text, and onValid submit, and here we'll pass our value. So we'll call the core form component, btn text equal to create core, core equal to @core, and onValid submit equal to @create. And here in the update core, we will call the component, and here we'll add our route. So /cause /update core /core id to int, and then inject our HTTP client HTTP. So the btn text will be update core, and then onValid submit we will have update, set our parameter, create new core, core equal core,
For our update method, we will use the http.put and post our core to update the changes. Task on parameter set async, then we will get the core by ID. Copy the inject navigation manager URI helper from the create core component to the update core component. Then put the URI helper that navigate to cause to the update method. Change the button tag to a hyperlink one.
So href cause slash update core slash core dot id. Now let's test our application, guys. So let's run it. Update. Core name Honda, will put it to Mazda. Update. Loading. Here it is, guys. So it's now Mazda. Now let's add a new car. So BMW. Create car. Here it is, the car ID is 4 and car name is BMW. Now let's delete the BMW. Are you sure you want to delete? Yes. Here it is. As you can see, we have our CRUD application where you can add, edit and delete your cars. Up, as you can see, we have our route, and here you can put the number. Let's type 4. Loading. We don't have 4 here. Let's type 3. Here it is. So we have Mazda displayed automatically. Thanks for watching, guys. If this video has helped you, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.
Comment below which programming tutorial you want me to cover, and support my channel by sharing my video, like it and subscribe. Thank you.